Hello everybody from Brussels. I spend the day here at the Directorate General for Innovation. I'm part of the sounding board of a group that is actually crafting the next report on science, research and innovation at the EU. I participated in this a couple of years ago, and we're now doing a new version which will be out in mid-March. And in fact, it's been a very, very interesting exercise, because no longer are we just speaking about very sort of dull and formal metrics of innovation, the number of patents and PhDs and the investment in R&D, but we're starting to speak about the more substantive and interesting issues linked to innovation. And there are two particular areas, right? One, there's a big debate about how do we foster innovation in the EU? How do we make the EU a champion in innovation? Because we're falling behind when compared to China and to the US. So the largest 20 technology companies in the world are in China and the US, not a single one is European, etc. And there are two answers in that area that I think are essential. One is Europe needs to do more in the space of fostering digital skills and digital knowledge, because that human capital will enable then actually innovation and entrepreneurship. And then two, Europe needs to deepen its digital single market. So there needs to be scalability in Europe for these startups to then do very well, become unicorns, and then become established companies in technology and innovation. But then the second lump of things was, okay, now that you've innovated and you're doing well in the innovation piece, what do you do to govern some of the big externalities that come with technological innovation? And some of these externalities are, I would point to in particular four. One is the deflationary pressure of digital technology. So digital companies and technology companies tend to generate less employment. They also tend to invest much less in assets than traditional companies like General Motors or Shell, some of the other giants. So Facebook employs about 140,000 people. General Motors at the peak of employment employed about 800,000. So it just gives you a sense. When WhatsApp was bought in 2014, it was bought for $19 billion and it employed 55 people, right? So there's something there that causes deflation, because if you pay less salaries and you invest less in assets, you depress demand and you depress growth. So there's something to the sustainability of this that is there. The second issue is the geographic concentration of innovation. So we know that knowledge and entrepreneurship is being concentrated in very particular points in our geographies, very particular urban centers. So according to the Brookings Institution, 5 cities in the US concentrated 90% of all job growth in technology and innovation over the last few years. So it's Seattle, San Diego, San Francisco, Boston. If you take these cities out, there's been almost no job growth. So all of these people are going to these spaces, and then the rest is being deprived of economic opportunity and others. So that's another huge challenge. I would say the third is a competition challenge, because in the digital economy you have this huge concentration of market share and others in very small number of companies that are highly productive, that use technology and that end up dominating their core markets. And then the fourth is in fact a taxation problem, which is we have a real challenge when it comes to taxing these companies and their activities effectively, because through technology they can operate in very complex ways. It's very difficult to in fact differentiate production and sale and tie it geographically. So these challenges will need to be addressed by the EU if we want to have both an effective innovation policy, be at the frontier, but also make sure that it's equitable, fair and sustainable in the long term. So the report will be out in mid-March. I'll share it, but some fascinating discussions here in Brussels about what this new commission will do when it comes to innovation and technology. Bye-bye everybody. I'm off to Madrid.